Hey, I am so excited about today's class. It is intended to release your back and let go of tension in your hamstrings. We are going to culminate in an advanced pose called halasana. This pose is fantastic for many of us, but for some of us, it's just not the right thing. So if this sounds like you, if you've got cervical problems, problems in your neck, any spinal issues like disc issues, hernias, weak eye blood vessels, or high blood pressure, then when we get to the end, one of the two final poses, halasana and plow pose, that's not the one for you. I'll let you know when that is coming, but what I'd like for you to do right now is to get yourself a couple blankets, 2 blocks, a yoga strap, and let's get started. The light is on and we are ready to roll. All right, so let's begin lying on your back, and I want you to draw your knees into your chest. So you can do that one hand on each knee, outer knee. Take a full breath in and relax through your shoulders, letting it all go and letting yourself arrive here. Truth is, our mind can take us away from basically everything that we do. And so this practice, that is the larger practice of yoga, and in particular our class, will allow us to keep bringing our mind right back to this moment. This is one way to help release trauma, coming back home to this moment, and it's also a way to enjoy what is right in front of you. So we're going to take another full breath here. And exhale it all out. And you feel how we're beginning to release the spine by just drawing knees in. And then placing both feet on the floor. You might have to negotiate with your furry friend, as I do. And then drop your knees over to the left. So beautiful spinal twist. I think I start like 90% of my classes on the floor. There's just something so grounding about getting here and feeling your body connect to the earth. So let it in. Let yourself have this moment. Take a full breath in. Exhale into the stretch, so you can turn your head to the right, you can reach your right arm to the right, and then knees are up through center, full breath in, dropping pelvis down, and then exhale, knees over to the right, and then you stretch to the left, so you can look to the left. You might get a little spinal adjustment like I just did. It feels so good being in our own bodies, experiencing our life force or your life energy. It's both unique to you and universal, all of us, right? So enjoy it. One more breath here. And stretch against that exhale. So as we're beginning, knees come back through the center. As we're beginning to enter into a real release of the entire back today, we're going to hit those hamstrings. When we release our hamstrings, then that helps the low back let go and the rest of the back. So take a yoga strap around the sole of your right foot. Go ahead and extend that right heel to the ceiling. Drop your toes down towards your knee and relax your shoulders onto the mat. Can you feel this in the back of the right leg here? So you might feel it depending on where you hold tension in your calves. You might feel it in the back of the hamstring. And let yourself just breathe here. So full breath in. And as you exhale, feel the energy pressing down into your abdomen to really release that breath up and out. Excellent. So let's do 5 more breaths here. You'll notice that particularly in today's class, we will do some momentum poses, but we're really going to hold poses. And when we hold poses, what that does is it allows us to deepen our flexibility and also to capitalize on yoga's capacity to help us release stress, release tension. So good. Give me one more breath here. Inhale. Nicely done. And exhale. Let's drop that right foot to the floor. Keep the right knee bent. And we're just simply going to swap sides. We'll take that yoga strap around the left sole of foot and then extend that heel right up to the ceiling. So you can feel with your arms, if you've got that yoga strap, sometimes, you'll see this being taught with your hands right up against the foot. It's okay. It's not bad. What's going to happen, though, is you're going to round up through your shoulders. And what we're trying to do is create length laterally, cross-shoulder-wise. That allows us to breathe more. So with that in mind, bend your elbows, place your triceps on the floor, and press the heel of your left foot up to the ceiling. Then breathe here, relaxing through your throat and your jaw. Notice if as you encourage your throat and jaw and tongue to relax, if there's other parts of you that begin to tense up. For example, neck or shoulders. And in that case, you can physically shimmy down, or you can encourage yourself to release that tension simply by using your mind and saying, let go. Sometimes that's all it takes, is that commitment to noticing when the tension develops and that honoring of you by releasing it. One more breath here. Really nicely done. Exhale, bend both knees, and we're going to draw them back into our chest, sway side to side. And this time we're going to tip all the way over to one side. Let's come on up into a downward facing dog. So your finger bones are spread real wide here. So they're opening, and then roll over your toes. You can keep your knees bent throughout the entire practice, but certainly for this first downward dog. So the reason we bend it is to help release the low back. And we're going to take 5 more breaths here, spinning your triceps. That's the upper back part of your arms towards the back of your mat. Land your eyes at something inanimate behind you, or close your eyes. So I'll walk you through it. Don't worry, we won't take off without you. We've got 3 more breaths here. Feel into your own body, your own experience. Last full breath. Inhale, and then exhale it all out. Really nicely done. Bend your knees. Let's come up to the top of the mat. Take a halfway lift. Inhale, and a forward fold as you exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Halfway lift, you'll notice my hands are on my shins. Some of you will have your hands on your thighs. Again, better than placing your hands on the floor. Again, I've got long hamstrings or movement in my hamstrings. I can easily put my hands on the floor, but look what it does to my shoulders. It rounds them. So part of this work today to release our back is to keep our shoulders beautifully, laterally elongated. 1 more breath. Inhale. In your halfway lift, and then exhale, we'll forward fold. Now bend your knees really deeply. Sit back into your heels, and then sweep your arms all the way up to standing. Interlace your hands, shoot the heels of them all the way up to the ceiling. So you can feel here, we're really elevating upward with the upper chest, upper body. At the same time, we're dropping tailbone down. 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Breath comes in. Breath goes out. Lift, lift, lift. 1 more breath in. And forward fold as you release it. Now you can still have your knees bent. You can lengthen them long. We'll take an inhale, halfway lift. And then high plank. So for this first one, just drop your knees to the floor. You'll notice that we're at an angle here. Tops of the feet are on the floor. Long spine. So take a look at my spinal column. There's no rounding here. It's lengthened. And then dropping halfway down to the floor. Then you could place your thighs on the floor and lift up into upward dog. You could keep your knees off of the floor, so it's more of a back bend. And then down over your toes, downward facing dog. Meet you there. 1 more breath. Inhale. And exhale. So we're going to move through some warriors as a way to warm up our bodies. I'm going to do 2 sets on each side of warrior 1, 2, and reverse warrior. However, if the pace I've set is too fast for you, then please pause the recording and you can just go at your own pace. What I want for you is to feel the joy of your own body moving, right? So here we go. We're going to start with the right leg up behind us, bend that right knee, coming into a 3-legged dog here on the right side, and then we'll close our hips, knees look at the floor, step it forward. Warrior 1, right foot is forward. Inhale, keep your core engaged, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to your heart, open it out. Warrior 2. Reverse the warrior, reaching up and back. And then exhale, come to a high plank. You could put your knees back down or keep your knees off the floor, low plank. Upward facing dog cobra, or you could take Sphinx pose. And downward facing dog. Nice, big breath in. And exhale the breath out. All right, when that breath's out, let's float that left leg up. Bend that left knee. Open out. So really you're opening through the hips here. You might even feel it in the quadricep. And then close the hips down. Step that left foot forward. Warrior one, left side, we rise. Exhale like Maya Angelou. Rise, we rise. Open, warrior two. Reverse the warrior. So beautiful. And here we go, high plank. Yes, you guys, low plank, upward dog, and downward facing dog. Again, find the pace that works for you. I'm going to take one more breath here, and then we're going to do the warriors again. Exhale the breath out. Keep the core engaged, and step right foot, warrior one. Inhale, lift. Open, warrior two. Reverse, all the way up and back, and then exhale, high plank. That's it, low plank, upward dog, breathe. Exhale, downward facing dog, left foot steps, warrior one. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, open, warrior two. Reverse, reaching up and back, and then exhale, high plank. So you know what, you guys, we're moving through our major 8 joints, low plank, upward dog, and pause. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's step one foot forward. Doesn't matter which, because you're going to face the long end of your mat. Toes turn in. Interlace your hands behind you. We're moving into Prasarita Padottanasana. Lift through the chest upward, and then bend into your knees so that your hip bones are holding you steady. They're coming straight down with the top of your head. You might put hands on blocks. You might have your hands on the floor. If your head easily reaches the floor, then cinch up your feet. So draw them a little closer to one another so that you really can maximize the stretch here. So your hands can be behind you, as I showed in the beginning, or on the floor or blocks. And then there's so much breath here. See if you can lift your tailbone up any amount more. As you exhale, press into the outer edges of each foot. Give this thing so much breath. So like what you're feeling is that your body is filling up with prana, life force, life energy, which it is anyway, but when we consciously harness it, you guys, by intentionally breathing deeply, particularly in a pose like this, we really maximize that vitality, that energy, and we really allow our backs to release. So see if you could pick up the inner arches of each foot. You could even take your fingers, if they reach, and put them into the inside, the inseam, instep of each foot, and then gently draw up. You could do that with peace fingers. That's your index and middle finger, and just drawing upward, and then seeing how that helps you push into the outer edges of each foot. You could use your thumb even. So you're really using your own bones to help you release. So this is 5 more breaths here. You're tipping forward. You'll notice that in this particular class, as we're trying to release our low back, there's so much about our hamstrings that have to help us out. It's not just the low back. I said low back, but I mean the entire back. Let's take one more full breath. Inhale. And exhale, we'll bend into our knees. Come on up to standing. Very good. Let's turn that right foot so it's facing the short part of your mat. Left hand is on the top of the left hip. We'll float that right arm up and then reaching forward into triangle pose. So reach, reach, reach as if you're trying to lengthen your lower rib cage onto a surface somewhere. Push into the outer edge of that back foot, just like we did before, and drop your right hand to your right shin. Peel open with that left shoulder. Wow, so good. So breathe. Can you feel this? This might be in both thighs. It might be inner groin on the right side. Maybe you're feeling a stretch through the top of the left rib cage. And then float that left arm up to the ceiling. Push even more into the outer edge of your back foot. And then move your back towards the wall or windows behind you. So you can look up to your thumb. That's your classic alignment, you guys. Doesn't work for all of us. Looking straight forward, like towards your device, might be fantastic. Even looking down at your right foot might be just what the doctor ordered. So let's breathe it here. We've got 5 more breaths. How you doing? This pose feels nice, doesn't it? So I want you to really find that joy, the joy of movement, the joy of getting to move your body through space, to hold poses, to release tension. Opening up a little bit more, moving the back, upper back. So this is releasing through the upper left hip there. One more breath, inhale. Nicely done. Exhale, we'll come up. Keep your core engaged, warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Woo, up and back, and then high plank. Here we go, low plank, elbows are in. You could always skip the high to low, upward face, and downward facing dog. Full breath here. Exhale the breath all out. Let's step that left foot forward, and we'll come up into triangle pose on the left side. So your left foot, it's like a shorter warrior two, right? And then you're taking your right hand on top of the right hip, left arm is up, and then reach, pause halfway, keep that core engaged, and then your hand onto the shin or a block, opening up through the right side of your body. So that right upper chest is releasing up to the ceiling. Drop down a little bit more. Then float that right arm up to the ceiling. Now from here, you're pushing into the outer edge of your right foot, and you're breathing this puppy out. Here we go. Let's make this happen. 5 more. Full breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Breath in. That's it. Breath out. Moving your back. Give yourself some space in between your neck and your shoulder so that the neck isn't collapsed. You're lengthening, you're opening. Here we go. Last one. Inhale. Exhale here into your triangle pose. And then your next inhale, bend that left knee. Keep the core engaged. Warrior two. Reverse the warrior. She's up and back. And exhale. High plank. Let's go low plank. Inhale. Pause in that upward dog. Lift the knees off the floor if possible. Open through the chest a little bit more. Feel the opening through the front line of your body. And then a downward facing diggity dog. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. So I'm going to ask you to get a block. Place it towards the top of your mat or off of your mat. And then step your right foot forward. Come on up into a crescent lunge. You're on the ball of the back foot. I don't know if you noticed what I did, but I had to widen my stance a little bit from where I was in my downward dog. That gives me more stability. I highly recommend being more stable in every aspect of our lives, right? So when we're stable, let's lift up into warrior, into our crescent lunge. When we feel that stability, that's where our freedom lies, because we can actually make movement. We can be rainmakers. We can make waves, because we've got that sturdy base, you guys. So it's physical, of course, for being successful in this pose, but it's also something else. It's also metaphorical. We've got 3 more breaths here. You're opening up through that left hip flexor. Here we go. Inhale, reaching taller with your hands, dropping tailbone down. Exhale. Last big breath in. And exhale it out. Now you've got that block, tallest setting out in front of you. Walk your back foot up, up, up. Take hold of that block with your hands. So I have mine off of the mat. That's going to help me with stability, particularly where we're going. Now I'm actually walking the right foot back in, so it's kind of lined up with the block center, and then lift that left leg up. So left leg can lift about hip height, or you can bring yourself down towards, hands off the block if you like, more advanced, holding onto your ankle with one or both hands. That's tricky. As you do that, you might notice the right leg lifts a little more. 3 more breaths. Left leg lifts a little more too. Right leg's holding you steady, last one. Nicely done. Soft knees, both feet. Hip width distance, top of the mat. Inhale, reach all the way up. Lengthen upward. And then Tadasana, hands alongside you. We're going to step that right foot back, finding your crescent lunge going back. So that's really good for our proprioception, you guys. When we step a foot back like that, You're actually training your mind to have better balance, which is always a good thing. All right, so once you get yourself steady and you've got that beautiful base, now you're floating arms up and you're breathing in and then breathing out. You're on the ball of the back foot. So feel the stretch of the fascia behind you. The right foot is stretching. Yoga is such a good thing, right? It's so powerful. We really can let go of so much gunk. Love it. Let's go. One more breath. Inhale. Here we go. Exhale. Let's step that right foot forward and up. The hands are on that block. To begin, left foot lines up with the block. And then your right foot, toes are facing down, lifts up. And then hands can come off of the block if you like. You're drawing your forehead closer to your left shin. You don't have to touch your left shin to get the beauty out of this pose. Not at all. This is just breathing with it is fantastic. Frontal hip bones look to the floor. Holding on to your ankle if you like with one or both hands for a more advanced pose. For 3. Stay with you now. Relax the jaw. Lift the leg any amount more. Push through that right foot, right heel. 2. Last big breath. Inhale. Ooh, so good. Exhale. Both feet down, hip width distance, soft knees. And then we rise all the way up to standing. Nicely done, you guys. We're going to flow a little bit forward. Fold. Here we go. Inhale. Halfway lift. Core is engaged. We step it back. High plank. Take it to low. Upward facing dog. And downward facing diggity dog. Here we go. Big breath in. And exhale the breath out. Breath in. And breath out. The warriors, right foot forward. Let's go. Rise up. Inhale. And open. Warrior 2. Reverse the warrior up and back. And exhale. High plank. Low plank. Inhale. Lift your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog, left foot. Take your time, please. Rise when you're ready. Warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Reverse, inhale. She's up and back. And exhale, high plank. Yeah, low plank. Upward dog breath. And downward facing dog, breathing out. Take a full breath here. Inhale. And let the breath go as you exhale. Bend your knees. We'll come down onto the floor. And I'd like you to sit on a blanket. You could sit on 2. Definitely, we're going to need 2 blankets at some point. But go ahead and sit on a blanket, please. And then have your yoga strap nearby. So, legs are out to the side. Upavista Konasana. And what we're doing here is taking that yoga strap around the sole of the right foot. Bend into that right knee, right elbow. Your right elbow can land near your right knee, but not on top of it. Push through that left heel. Then float that left arm up and over. So good. Opening up through the chest, through the ribs. And breathing here. Can you feel this all along the side of the body? Can you also notice it's kind of like our triangle pose, isn't it? It's very similar. Give yourself space to breathe here. Pushing both heels away from each other, engaging both quadriceps, so your thigh muscles. And let's do this. 5. Really nicely done. One more breath. Exhale slowly. Keep that core engaged and super slow, like you're moving through warm water. Come up to seated. Align yourself first. Sitting bones drop, and then we swap sides. So place that yoga strap around the left foot. Hold on to the yoga strap with your left hand, and then bend that left elbow in towards your left leg. When you push through that right heel, you actually create a little more space in the hip complex there with that hip bone, and reach the right arm up and over and begin that beautiful work of spinning right ribs up to the ceiling and beyond. Core stays engaged, quads stay engaged, heels move away from one another. Good. 2 more breaths. You got this. And slowly, slowly, slow we go. Let's open that up. And now take your yoga strap. If you have tighter hamstrings, you definitely want to take your yoga strap, place it around the soles of your feet. If your knees are really bending upward, you can always pop a block underneath your hamstrings there. If you have a lot of space in your hamstrings and you don't need the block or the yoga strap, you can release it and place yourself on the floor. So whatever works for you is what works for you. No apologies, 100% no judgment. This is part of our practice, is honoring ourselves and accepting where our body, our mind, and our spirits are. And that's how we not only bear our lives, but also deepen our connection to ourselves, to spirit, source energy, to others in our lives who we love. So breathing here, you can lengthen your chest a little more forward. Heels continue to push away from one another, whichever version you are in, and we're breathing here. Putting a little blessing out for you and for those you love and for the whole planet, all of us. Good. Lengthen forward a little bit more. I know it's uncomfortable. You're in it a little longer than you might be if you were just practicing without me talking to you. So just breathe with it, you guys. 5 more breaths here. If it feels zingy or super uncomfortable or painful, you want to come out of it. But if it feels just uncomfortable and none of those other things, that's where our growing edge, okay? 3 more here. Inhale. Notice how your body releases a little more. Last big breath in and out. Beautifully done. Let's come on up to seated and pause here. So you've got the pelvis dropping down, and then bend both knees. You can hold on to your hamstrings, bring them together for a moment. And then we're going to move into halasana. So 2 blankets, okay? So you can have them rounded and even, and you'll place the rounded part away from you. That's where your shoulders are going to line up, sort of about 1 inch or so away, the top of your shoulders, away from the edge of that blanket. What I'm going to do here is time us. I'm going to get a timer for about 1 minute and change. And what I'd like to show you first, so before you actually get into it, if you know this pose, plow pose, then go ahead and you can take it. But if it's new to you, I want to show it to you first while you're not doing the pose. Because once you're in the pose, you don't want to move your neck around. You want to really protect the cervical spine by having your neck just be straight and neutral, and it'll be off of the blankets. So I'm going to back it up and show you how this goes. Elbows are down, and then again, you're going to take your shoulders up so that they're about 1 inch or so from the top of your blanket. Knees can come in, and then from here, you can either use your hands to, or scooch with your abdomen to lift your legs upward, and then drop your feet behind you. They might touch the floor. If they do, you can release your hands away. If they don't, then keep your hands at your low back, moving your elbows in towards you. You can join your legs together. So I'll stay in the pose as I walk you through it. Lay down onto your blanket so that your shoulders are about 1 inch or so away from the top of the blanket. Draw your knees into your chest and then legs up to the air, holding onto your low back with your hands. Elbows are about shoulder width. Drop your feet behind you. They may or might not touch the floor. In any case, you can continue to hold your hands at your low back to support yourself. Pressing your hands into your low back, keeping your neck neutral. Don't turn your head. That's our timer. Bend your knees. Place your knees near your forehead for Karnapidasana. Keep your hands at your low back and lower yourself out. Nicely done. I'm going to stop that timer. Whew. And now we move into fish pose almost immediately. So here, take your elbows. You can place them off of the blanket, which is what I'd recommend. Roll that blanket away. Legs are long. Fingertips are underneath your glutes, and then you're bending back onto your elbows. So if you notice here, there could be a collapse into the chest. That's the opposite of what we want. We want to open the chest forward, lengthen through your toes, open through your toes. Now, sometimes you'll see in the books, this will be taught with the head looking back behind you. To tell you the truth, that's a ton. That is a lot, and it's too much for most of us. I recommend eyes forward. Open up through your shoulders. Breathe, lengthening forward, pressing your heels away. Breathing here. Lifting up through your chest. These poses are like medicine. They really can heal a lot. So good. Lengthen a little bit more. Full breath in. And exhale, release it. Bend your knees. Lie onto your back. You can have something underneath the back of your head like a pillow. Before we hit Shavasana, we're going to take right ankle across the left and draw both legs towards you. This was a special class, you guys, you know? There's something very different about taking a class just to get to the crescendo pose, and that is kind of what we did here today. So, and we'll take 5 more breaths here. And then the left foot's on the floor, right foot's on the floor, and then left ankle across your left ankle across your right knee, breathing, pulling in. Three more big breaths. And release. Both feet are on the floor. Drop your knees to the left. Reach your your right arm to the right, just like in the beginning we did this. And then up through center, swap legs, dropping them over to the right. Head turns left. And then one more time for a good measure. Knees are over to the left. You're reaching your right arm to the right. Head turns right. And then up through center and drop knees to the right. Head turns left. Arm turns left. Nicely done. Let's come back. Now we did so much for our hamstrings. So for Shavasana, either another blanket or blocks underneath your hamstrings, kind of catty corner, and then lengthen your legs long down the mat. Relax your shoulders, relax the back of your head, and breathe. Shavasana. Let your body really drop in. Your powerful practice, and let yourself rest. And a full breath in. Open your mouth, clear that breath away. Really nice job. Bend your knees and we'll tip over to one side. Let's press ourselves up to seated, comfortable seated position, and namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'll see you next time.